Hello, my name is Michael Angelo Caruso. I'm going to give you 3 tips that you can use to improve your very next presentation. All 3 tips will be used in the first 15 seconds of the talk. And that's good because you need help during the first 15 seconds of your talk. It's been said that none of us are completely ourselves in the first few seconds of a presentation. I believe it. I think that we're under our central nervous systems are under siege. I think we're nervous. I think we're dealing with unfamiliar surroundings. I think we're assessing who in the room might be ready to shoot us down. And I just think we're battling a lot in the first few seconds of a talk. And so you need extra help for the first few seconds of a presentation. I've often said that you should practice the beginning, the very beginning, and the very ending of your presentation more than you practice everything else. And the reason is, just that, the very beginning of the presentation, your central nervous system is under siege. It's very difficult to get your bearings. And the reason you want to practice the very ending is because that's your call to action, right? And without the call to action, your presentation doesn't exist. So when you practice the very beginning and the very end, good things will happen for you. So these 3 tips I want to share are tips that I've given and shared all over the world, actually. And I'm also sharing in live Present Like a Pro training sessions that are happening in various cities all over the country. In particular, we've got some dates coming up in the United States, Chattanooga. I know that we're going to be in Edmonton, Alberta. I think it's Alberta in Canada coming up. Also Tampa. We've got something coming up in Texas. And so if you want to know about the dates and attending any of these Present Like a Pro training sessions, they're half-day sessions, and you will learn more in 3 hours than you've learned in 3 years about the speaking business and how to be a better communicator. This will help you at work, and I think the bigger payback is that it'll work for you at home as well. So you can go to michaelangelocaruso.com. Just go up to the nav bar and search for live events, and then you'll get to the Present Like a Pro training calendar, and then you can see which city's closest to you. Now let's do these 3 tips that you would use at the beginning of any presentation. The first one is almost counterintuitive. It seems like I wouldn't have to tell anybody this, but after doing years and years and years of speaker coaching, I can tell you that about 80% of the people that give presentations, they all say something like this at the beginning of their presentation. It's a pleasure to be with you today. What an honor. Wow, very nice of you to give me that round of applause. Thank you so much. We say it's a pleasure to be there, but we don't show it. Now, here's the problem. We're looking for something when you speak called congruency. It means you're doing what you say what you do. If those 2 things don't match up, you are viewed as inauthentic. And because you're inauthentic, you're less believable. And because you're less believable, we may not trust you. You understand how important this is? So that if you say it's a pleasure to be with you, but you don't show it, we're confused. And the more cynical people in the room will just say, I don't believe him. And that's going to be a problem when you get to your call to action. So it's very important that you have congruency at the beginning of your talk. So it's the difference between, hello everybody, it's a pleasure to be with you today, and this, hello everybody, it's a pleasure to be with you today. Big difference, right? And all I did was smile. Now, the reason that this is counterintuitive is you'd think to yourself, well, anybody that's going to say it's a pleasure to be with you would certainly smile almost automatically. But that's not so. And we have evidence, proof, if you will, in video that I do. When I train clients, we actually look at video. And I've made little side bets with somebody before I show them the video. The client will say, well, what do you mean I didn't smile? Of course I smiled. I said, I'll bet you $1 you didn't smile. And they go, okay, you're on. I know I smiled. I show them the video, and then I say, pay up, you owe me $1. I don't care about the money. What I want them to do is be congruent in their communication. If they say they're happy to be there, they actually act like they're happy to be there, right? This is really, really important. Because if somebody thinks you lied to them in the first few seconds, they're never going to believe you the rest of the talk. So it's very important. Okay. Tip number 2 is this. That at the beginning of your presentation, you must tell people how great the presentation is. This is called building positive expectation, right? And you would do it if you were introducing somebody. You would say, well, he has a fantastic presentation for you. But for some reason, when you get up in front of the audience, you don't say, I have a fantastic presentation planned for you. But that's exactly what they want to hear. They want to hear that you're going to be better than most. They want to hear that you're certainly better than the last one, right? And so if the introducer, the person introducing you does not tell everybody how great you are, you're going to have to tell them yourself. And it's okay. You know, I used to begin, I still do sometimes. I'll get in front of a group and I clap my hands. I always clap my hands to get their attention. You know, it's like the Hollywood clapper, right? Cut, take two, right? I like it. It's like a scene change, right? I don't know what's been going on in your little convention before I got up here, but cut, you know, good morning, how are you? And then I'll say, my name is Angelo Caruso, and I have a fantastic presentation for you today. And then I pause. And what do you think happens when I pause? Everybody says, wow, that's pretty good. I like it. You know, they start elbowing each other, looking at each other. That's pretty good, you know, because the last three presenters haven't been so great, you know. Now, in a room of 100 people, I can promise you that two of the people cross their arms like this and say, I don't like him already, right? But that's okay. I got to 98 of them, right? That's pretty good. 98 people now have a positive expectation of my program. See, if they're already there mentally, I don't have to work so hard to convert them. So if you knew there was like this magic phrase that would get everybody to say, okay, I'm ready to learn. Okay, I'm ready to be inspired, right? And I'm giving it to you. That magic phrase is, I have a fantastic presentation for you today. It's excellent. I highly recommend using it. Now, of course, you have to deliver a fantastic presentation. Okay, so you have two tips now. First one is that you're going to smile, you're going to mean it, and you're going to smile when you say that it's a pleasure to be there, right? It's a pleasure to be with you today. Second tip is you're going to establish positive expectation by saying, I have a fantastic presentation for you. Always use a positive adjective to describe your own talk. Fantastic presentation. I have a fun presentation for you today, right? Fun. Something people would like. You got it. The third tip is something I call the half step. And I see it all the time in the business. I see it on television. I actually learned it from Johnny Carson on the old Tonight Show. I used to watch Johnny Carson and be enchanted. Carson had an interesting issue. You know, the show, if it was on 11:30 p.m., many more people were watching at 11:30 p.m. than were watching at 1 o'clock a.m. when the show went off. I think it was 90 minutes. And so he had a bigger viewing audience. And so the beginning of the show was really important. And so what happened was when they opened the curtain, like the producer of the show was Freddie DeCordova. And Freddie probably called all the shots in the show. And one of the things he wanted to see was that when the curtain opened, that Johnny Carson would already be in motion to come out. You see, he was already really nattily attired, right? You remember Johnny Carson. And you can watch it on YouTube. Just Google it up, search it up. And you'll see that when the curtain opens, he's not standing still. He's walking through the curtain, right? And they do the same thing on automobile commercials. And credit card. Jennifer Garner does this. What's in your wallet, right? But she's always walking around, right? Because motion, especially if I'm moving towards you, is psychologically attractive. Now, I don't want to come at you too fast or too hard, right? That's not pleasant. But if I just kind of subtly go like that, right? Look, I'm balanced on my right foot right now, but watch what happens when I come forward just like that. And more importantly, watch what happens when I'm solid like this and I move backwards. So it's even more pronounced in the video screen today. But watch what happens now when we go back to that congruency issue of what I'm saying when I do something, right? If I say to you, watch this now, watch. Hi, my name's Angelo Caruso, and I have a fantastic program for you today. You're really going to like this. You see what's happening? I'm sending you what behavioral psychologists call a tell that I don't even believe what I'm saying, right? I'm retreating as I say it. Watch, I'll exaggerate. Hi, my name's Angelo Caruso. I have a fantastic program for you today. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I am very, very passionate about this topic, but I just keep moving away from you. Now, what happens when I just do what's called the half step in your direction? Watch this now. Hi, everybody. My name is Angelo Caruso, and I have a fantastic program planned for you today. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. Now, I'm cheating again a little bit. I'm using my hands, but you saw it, right? I have a fantastic program, almost like kind of sit on that word fantastic. I have a fantastic program for you today. Now here is my final bit of advice for you. If you're going to use any of these 3 tips, is you have to practice them, right? Almost everybody, when they practice a presentation, they practice the verbiage, right? They have the notes, or you see them in their car. Oops, they're eating in their car, or they're shaving, right? It's taped to the mirror, and they're practicing. Oops, again, if you're shaving. But nobody ever practices the nonverbal cues, right? When am I going to take a half step forward? When am I going to do this with my hands, right? When am I going to smile? When do we practice that? And so if you really, really want to put these tips to work for you, you want to practice them in great settings, ideally with video recording, maybe in a mirror would be great, but you get that little connection in your head that when you say fantastic, half step forward, okay? So more tips on how to give presentations, not just in the first 15 seconds, but how about the middle of the presentation, which contains the only part of your talk that doesn't have a script. It's called the Q&A. Very challenging water to navigate. And then most importantly, your call to action. How do you wrap things up? How do you stay on time? How do you increase your closing ratio? All these tips in my training, Present Like a Pro training. More free stuff in my blog, which is at michaelangelocaruso.com. You can get more video tips, often in 2-minute segments, on YouTube at Michelangelo Caruso. You can subscribe and be notified of new videos when they're posted. I really appreciate you. Hope to see you on the road soon. And thanks very much. Oh, I'm doing Facebook Live as well on Saturdays. If you're available, stop in and see me there on Facebook. Best of luck with your next presentation.